I can see this letter being handed off from person to person with confidential, personal, eyes only written all over it. How does news of its arrival get to you?
Well, we were working at 6:30. I think I got the call from Dwight Chapin around 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and he said, Bud, are you sitting down? And I said, yeah. He said, the king is here. Yeah. And I looked at the president's schedule. I said, there aren't any kings. He said, no, not any two-bit king. The king. He's here. And he said, and he wants to see the president today. Well, I belong to a group of guys that regularly played practical jokes on each other, and I had just executed one against Dwight Chapin that I thought was particularly embarrassing and creative. So this was payback time. I said, no.
Like us guys.
Like us guys, that's right, the way we are today. So he said, I'll send this letter over to you that he's written to the president. Well, a messenger brought it over, and I took it, and I started reading it just as you opened up, Tom. My name is Elvis Presley, and it goes on and says, I'm a great admirer of you and your office. I'd like to help the country out. I can go into any group of people and be well accepted. I just want to help the country out. I don't want anything more. I'd like to be made a federal agent at large. Well, 9 o'clock in the morning, well, we don't have those. But now, you have to understand, I, like you, was one of the great Elvis Presley fans. And I never went on a date without Elvis, and he was very helpful. So you have to understand that is this real or not? And at the end of the letter it said, I'm staying over at the Washington Hotel under the name of John Burroughs. So I figured, well, Chapin, you're pretty good. You can set the stuff. So I called over the hotel, and I think you answered the phone, Jerry.
Yeah, he said you can contact my PR man,
my
Jerry
PR,
Schilling.
Jerry Schilling. So I go over and says, this is Jerry Schilling, and I said, this is Bud Krogh, and I've got this letter from Elvis Presley. I don't think it's for real. And then you said, yes, he wrote it on the plane coming in last night. I got, God, Chapin, you are really good. You just set this whole thing up. And, I got a call from the Northwest Gate guard, and he said, Mr. Krogh, we have a gentleman here who looks surprisingly like Elvis Presley. What would you like me to do with him, sir? And I'm expecting an impersonator, as it said, and then Chapin's going to go and say, gotcha, you see. But, well, in about 4 minutes, my secretary came in and said, Bud, Elvis Presley is here with two very handsome big guys. What do I do? Here's one of them right here. That's right.
I'm just kidding.
So anyway, they came in. But at this point, you still are wondering if this is real.
I'm wondering, Tom, whether this is for real.
Yeah.
Because, this just doesn't happen. And so I usher him into my office, and he sits down on the green couch, and he proceeds to tell me how much he loves his country, that he's dedicated to serving the country, wants to help the country out. He talked about going into the Army, and I said, I know, and you went to Germany, and you met Priscilla. It's just all coming out. See? So I'm a fan. I know. And he's looking at me. I wonder who this guy is. So anyway, we meet for about a half an hour, and I am very impressed. Because this is a solid American and a patriotic American. So I called over to Dwight Chapin, and I asked you to go back to the hotel. I said, I don't know if I can pull it off, but let's see what we can do. And Chapin answered the phone. I said, look, this meeting has got to take place. The president has never met anyone like Elvis. Elvis has never met anyone like Nixon. So let's set this meeting up. So he gets approval from Bob Haldeman, who is the chief of staff, calls over to me and said, Bob's approved it. I called back over to the hotel. I said, can you come back over in about a half an hour? They do. I get a call from the head of the Secret Service detail. And he said, Bud, we got a problem. I said, what's that? He said, Elvis has brought a gun with him. I said, oh, shoot. I didn't say exactly that, but it was close. I said, well, he didn't tell me about the gun. He says, it's a very nice gun, Bud. It's a .45 Colt automatic, but it's got bullets in the display case. We don't let guns go in the Oval Office. So I had to go over, and I think you guys were a little disappointed that the Secret Service had taken the gun. Am I right on that?
Yes. But I will say this. Just to show the intelligence of Elvis Presley, and it was a commemorative World War II. Elvis was a history buff, and he knew his stuff. At the bottom of that letter, because of your book, I just recently read, he says, "I have a gift for you. If you can't accept it now, maybe." So he understood.
He understood that you might not be able to take it, even though he was well armed.
That's exactly
So anyway, after we solved the gun crisis, we went into the Roosevelt room, and the Secret Service came out and said, the president will see Mr. Presley now. And so we walked into the Oval Office, and I would have thought that Elvis has entertained millions of people all over the world. He would be right at home in the Oval Office, but that was not the case. I think he felt, here I am from Tupelo, Mississippi, and I'm walking into the Oval Office, and he's looking at the eagles engraved into the ceiling, and eagles are sewn into the floor. It's a very impressive room. And so I sort of ushered him across the carpet over to the desk. The president comes around and said, "How do you do, Mr. Presley? Good to meet you." And
there you go.
Is that pretty good? There he is. This is it. That's the handshake, see? The president always would look directly at your right shoulder, so you were always trying to get in his line of, "Over here, Mr. President." So they shook hands, and then I don't know if you have the other picture. Well, this comes a little later, but this is the picture of after we've met with the president. This is Jerry, the second one from the right, and Sonny and the president hands there said, "You got a couple of big ones here, Elvis." That's a joke.
Yeah.
And then this is my Forrest Gump picture. Now, those of you might remember, and this is really a cultural literacy test. Forrest is at the end of the bench, and he turns to this lady. He says, "Mama told me life was just like a..." You never know. That's what I got that morning. Elvis Presley and the president together, and I get to watch it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that.